Hello everyone and welcome. Today I am going to be making a piece of furniture for the Boho room box. I'm using cardboard, cardstock, and a lighter weight cardboard, kind of like cereal packaging, and this really crappy piece of dollhouse furniture. So that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to be making a box to set on top of it. It's kind of going to be like one of those old hat box dressers, if you know what I'm talking about, but not exactly and not near as grand. So first thing I'm going to be doing here is I'm just putting on a good thick coat of dark brown paint because I have an idea for this and I need paint underneath, not because it won't work with just whatever finish they put on this piece of furniture. So I need to put a coat on, and I'm just using some burnt umber paint to do that with. And in a minute or two I will speed the video up because you don't need to watch me paint. I'm a little off camera. I'm just trying to make sure I get it up under the edge of the top of it, and I get it all around, and I get a good thick coat on everything because it's, I think, going to help with what I'm doing. So now I'm going to be assembling the little box part that is going to go on top of this, and I'm just gluing one edge of a piece of cardboard, and I'll be gluing it. I'm gluing another piece to it, and I will make a little box out of it. Now I don't care if this comes out perfect. It does not need to. It's for the boho thing, and I want it just a little bit shabby, but also still nice enough to use. So, and I apologize when I'm getting off camera there, but I'm trying to make sure I get those edges so I can get everything lined up good. And I'm just using the grid on my mat to kind of keep everything straight. So this is a piece I didn't paint, and it's just the back piece. It's going to go against the wall. Nobody's going to see it ever. Well, probably when they take it out, but I'm probably going to be gluing everything into the boho room box because it's a room box. It's not like a dollhouse. I won't be moving things around once I get it all done. So yeah, so now I've just created my little box. I'm just trying to straighten everything up here, making sure everything is nice and even. And it's sticking really well. I'm just using, of course, the tacky glue, my favorite. So now I'm picking up another little piece, and I'm just sticking it on there to see how it goes, because one way is just a little bit longer than the other. And once again, before I go ahead and glue that, I want to make sure my box is nice and even. So I'm off camera, but I'm just applying glue around the edge of this because this piece is going to fit down right on top of the box. And all I need to do is glue around the edges because the box is going to be hollow. Yeah, see, I had it on just a little bit wrong. It is just a little bigger one way than the other. And when you have something that's square, sometimes it's almost square, it's really hard to tell. So I'm just pushing it down, making sure it's going to hold. So now I'm taking, while that's drying, I'm taking the bottom part and I am putting a door on, and I realize it's really hard to see here, but I used, I think, 4 layers of cardstock, and I'm not using the heavyweight cardstock for this one. I'm just using regular cardstock, and I used 4 layers glued together, and I Mod Podged over everything because I knew I was going to be using paint and I didn't want anything warping on me. So I got my glue on, and now I'm just bringing the door over so that I can get it on there. I'm just trying to line it up so everything is pretty straight, and I'm just eyeballing it. Sometimes I have better luck with that, sometimes not so much. So I have the door on, and this is the base. The little top part is dry, so it's got those edges on it, but that's not going to matter. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to stick on what are going to be little drawers on the side. So I've got one really small skinny one, and I'm having trouble. My glue is getting down below the halfway mark, and I set it up because it likes to clog so easy, and then when I want it, it takes a minute. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to eyeball where this one should go. Just pushing it down on there, and then I'm going to grab another one. Because there'll be 3 of them down the side. Nothing opens, it doesn't need to. So these are just fronts made to look like there's doors and drawers. And I'm just getting glue on the last one, and I'm going to put it down. I got them down, and I realize they're not all even enough for me. So one of them was a little far off. So I'm just adjusting those now so that everything looks pretty even. And I really am trying to get these lined up so that they look good. Okay, that'll do it. I'm happy with that. And so now I'm going to, if you hear any noise in the background, it's just my cats. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe I don't want to know. That's kind of how I feel about it. Maybe I don't want to know. So this is going to be the little door up on the top part. And I did cover those front edges where the end of the cardboard was showing. I did cover them with 2 coffee stir sticks, and it worked out perfectly. It gave me just enough room that I could still put my door in there with a little bit of space around it. So I was happy with that. And that's what that looks like. I know it's hard to see, but yeah. So now I have all of that on, and it's time to put the top on the little box. And so just making sure my door is lined up good, and now I'm going to be putting the top on the little box, and I allowed just a little bit of overhang on it, and I forgot to paint the underside. It'll all get taken care of in the end. So I'm off camera again, but I'm just putting on glue, making sure I get a good bunch of glue on there. And then I'm just going to line that up even with the back because, as I said, it'll be against a wall. making sure everything's lined up and even. I had more hanging over one side than the other, and yeah, that's top of the little box. Just checking to make sure everything was straight, and now we're gonna glue it on top of the base part of this cabinet. So again, I'm off camera, but I'm just putting glue on the bottom of the little box. And I don't want it clear over to the edge. I want it to set in just a little bit. And so I'm getting everything all lined up. I've got a little extra glue there that I didn't need. It won't really make any difference. And it's just going to sit on there just like that. So far so good. Okay, I'm back. I've let everything dry good, and this is where life starts to go a little wonky. So I'm attempting again to use my old crackle medium. I tried it once before and it barely crackled. So I get the idea that if I put on a much thicker coat, that this is going to be better, that maybe it will actually crackle. So pour some in the lid, and I'm going to go at it and just coat this thing. So I'm trying to decide which way to go, and I decide I'm going to go this way because it says that you're just supposed to put it on in one direction only. And I want some good crackle, so I'm putting it on in one direction only, and I'm putting it on pretty thick. Last time I used it thin, and I barely got any response out of it. And here comes the dilemma of which way am I going to paint everything on the front of it. I'm doing the little edges right now, and going down the side. And I've sped this up so that you won't have to watch me do this forever. And now I'm starting on the front, and with the little doors and drawers and the little spaces in between, it was kind of tricky. But I got it all on there and only spilled a little bit, and so now I'm sitting here waiting for it to dry, and it took forever, and it still wasn't dry in a couple spots, so I'm like, I'll just dab it off. No problem. No problem, I say. Ha ha. So anyway, I've decided I want to use this kind of mustard yellow color. I love this color, and I thought it would look really great in the boho room. So I'm dipping my brush into my paint, and yeah, I'm a little off camera. I'm trying to I want to see before you see what exactly is going to happen here. And just a minute and I'll be back in camera with you, or in frame. But I'm just seeing how this is going on, how it's going to go on, because now I've sped it up, and as you can see, I'm getting the yellow on. See that little corner there, and now I'm coming more into frame, and I'm painting the top, and I'm slowly realizing I am not getting the desired effect. So I'm off camera again because I'm going around all the little edges and stuff, and I still have hope at this point that this is going to crackle nicely, and I'm going to have an old worn look. Oh, I'm a dreamer. So, and I'm just continuing to paint. I'm so sorry about being off camera. As you can see, I'm putting paint on the front, and as you can see, I'm not getting crackles, I'm getting lines and I'm getting spots, and this is just not looking good. And so I'm just going in between the little spots between the doors and the drawers, and the front was kind of tricky. So this is what I'm getting. I'm not getting, this is what I got. I got no crackle. I got something that looks like somebody beat the crap out of it, but it's not what I'm looking for. I did learn something in doing this, and I will let you know when I'm done, but for now, here I go, I'm painting again, and those spots like that are really hard to paint over. So I had to use kind of a thick coat of paint to get it mostly covered up. I love this color. I don't know why. I'm not really a yellow person, but I really like this color. So if you can't tell, the master bedroom in the farmhouse is the same color. Anyway, so I am now painting it, trying my hardest to cover up this mess, because although I wanted it to look somewhat rustic, I didn't want it to look this rustic. So I'm just doing whatever I can to try to cover that up. And since you're not going to see, you know, the struggles in between, I finally ended up taking the brush and pouncing the paint into the cabinet, and that took away a little more of that look. I tried other things, and I found that if you put on paint and then you wipe it off, use different colors, you can get a really, really, really nasty looking old finish that is just about not there. So I did learn that, so I'll be keeping the crackle medium around in case I ever want anything that, you know, really looks nasty and grungy. But anyway, it's going better. I'm getting rid of a lot of the streaks and stuff. So here's the final look of it, and we still have some of the streaks and that. It's not perfect, which is what I wanted, but I didn't want it as nasty looking as it was. So it's got a few spots where it's showing its age and wear, so yeah, I can live with that. Now this looks pretty much like just a kindergarten piece of furniture, but so did the one in the boho room that I saw the picture of. So I made some drawer and door pulls, handles, and what I did was I used a googly eye and I cut them so that I would just have that rounded part, half round, to look like the old drawer pulls I used to have. And the funny thing was, I was watching Laura over on Tiny View this morning, and she was making something and she was using Google Eyes too, so there's something to Google Eyes. And they do make really wonderful half-rounded pulls. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to be applying the stuff that I have painted here, and I just used copper Tester's model paint, and then I went over it with just some dry brushing, some black, and I glued that, but I realized I'm going to need a little more glue, so now I'm just using my tweezers to pick one of the half Google Eyes up. And if you have fine tweezers like this with the really tiny ends, you can poke them down into the Google Eye, like the inside, and because I just leave the back and front together and remove the little black pupil of the eye. So yeah, so you can pick them up with those. You can just slip the tweezers right in between there and pick them up. Works pretty good. I have them on a piece of masking tape, so they're wanting to stick to it. So just placing it, trying to get it as even as I can and as straight as I can. And then I'm going to put the drawer pull on this little bitty drawer up here on top. And holding the masking tape down, and that one gave me a little trouble coming up at first. just laying it on there and straighten it out so it looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, so these other two things are they're air dry clay, and they're just little medallions. And the piece of furniture in the boho room picture had those on it too. So don't ask me what that's about. But I liked them, and I had these little medallions that I'd made with the clay, and I decided I wanted to put them on also. So now I'm just centering those, trying to get them pretty even. And as bizarre as it looks, that's what we're looking at. But in just a minute, we're going to go to the boho room box, and we're going to show you what it looks like in there. And I can see it with, I don't know, little things on it. And honestly, I thought it looked pretty cute once it was in there. So after this dries, we'll go to the boho room. Yeah, not sure what that was. So here we are in the boho room, and there it is. I actually think it looks kind of cute in there. And I didn't know what I was going to do with that twig mirror, but I think I'm going to put it up above the little cabinet. Okay, so anyway, here we are taking a long shot at the room. I think it's really cute in there. So I hope everyone, I want to thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.